Hello, John here. In this video, we are... Yeah, right, okay. I will do. I'll tell her. Right. This... We're on the... we're on the library building still. Right? So... we did the sprite management. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. I haven't got me. I could have a slideshow up like I normally do, you know, with the title of the. Yeah, no, okay, right, right. Library. I'm still in disassemble mode, I tell you, and we'll go into that in a bit as well. Oh, right, okay. So we did in the last stream for the Hunchback project, because this is what I'm calling this, is just the Hunchback streams, to get the libraries up and ready for when we finally start converting to 6502. I'm also thinking, yeah, I try. I mean, you haven't seen the 2-hour you haven't seen the 2-hour Neptune lander video yet, where I really lose it. Yeah, I think that's the next one. And I'm debating whether to edit it to take out the moments when I lose it, or take out the bits that I'm being productive and just leave the bits where I lose it. All right, I'll start doing that from now on. Yeah. Hello, John here again, and in this video, blah, right. So yeah, I think that's the next one. I think that's the next video that I'm not looking forward to, because I do lose it. Hang on, let me just have a quick look. I think that's the next Neptune lander video. Let's just quickly look. No, it's not that one. Yeah, that's the one. Let me just do a properties on it and I'll let you know how long it was. Details. Duration. Two hours and 11 minutes. Yeah, I think that's going to get cut down. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. So, anyway, the last library stream, not the disassembling stream, the last Hunchback library stream, we implemented a multiplexing sprite library, and at the end of it I managed to get a line of Esmeraldas, but only in black and white. Well, now, just to show you that it can be done, because I was a bit concerned that it wasn't going to work, here we go. So F6, and there you go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Esmeraldas, so that's 16 sprites in total, and 2 for quasi. So we got 2 physical sprites for the main character, so I assume that's going to be quasi, and then we've got 16 sprites to play with for the rest of them. So we could have 2, if we have Esmeralda on the screen on every level, we could have 2 for her, and then we've got another 14 sprites for other things. So depending on how the development goes, we could have high-res sprites like this, multicolored high-res sprites, which means we've got 8 enemies effectively, or we could go the other way where we can use all 16 sprites for enemies and stuff like that. So, and it did work. It does work. I mean, I was messing around with it trying to break it, and I did break it, but I actually had these in a very shallow line, and it did break it, but it didn't break it into the point that it just went whoa. It broke it to the point that we started getting the flashing, the flashing. So that's all that happened. So if we get, I think it was 4. I think when 4 of them got really close together on the same vertical lines, it started having a bit of an issue. But I think this is good going, and the fact that all I did in the example was I added that line which initializes the multiplexer, and then added that line which enables it, which turns it on. Yeah, so there's another function called disable mux which turns it off. So if you disable it, you only end up with quasi, and that's it. All the rest of the code is exactly the same as what we had before when we just used the physical sprites. And just to get Esmeralda on the screen many times, all I did was I created a little loop here for I equals 0 to less than 7, add 1, and I just set up the rest of the sprites to be 7 multicolor, 7 high resolution, and then linked, and hoped for the best they would be on top of each other in the right order, and it was. So as you can see, there is no special commands to mess around with the multiplexer. It's just that you are now treated to 16 plus 2, so 18 sprites in total that you can do with whatever you want. I mean, the 2 physical sprites could be 2 single players, 2 single player sprites. So I'm hoping that this library will be the cornerstone of what we do in terms of all the sprites and stuff like that. And and it's dead easy to swap over, right? Because all we do is we just change the library. So if we go to example 8 or 7, sorry, that was the trial 7, yeah. It's exactly the same library, exactly the same functions. The only difference is we got 2 sprites. Don't worry about that, because I was messing about with the sprite library. All right, that's the only difference, is we just implement a different library, and if we're using the multiplexer, we need to initialize it, and then we need to enable it when we want it, and then disable it when we don't want it, because if you don't disable it, it still runs and takes CPU power up. So the disable function allows you to not have it there. So I've been racking my brains thinking, what can we do now? And it sort of came to me when I was doing yesterday's, was it yesterday? Or the day before, I can't remember. Well, the days are merging into one now. I'm doing all these streams in quick succession. Is a joystick library. The joystick library is still a black art to everyone, and even to me, because I keep asking Andy what bit is what. So what I thought we'd do is we'd write a joystick library that does all the basic functions to make things a little bit easier. Right, how many people? We've got 9 people on. Right, okay. To get you all playing, Let's see if I can do this right. Can I add everybody points? Add points to all viewers. Here we go. How many do you want? Don't be stupid. Here we go. You should be getting points. I've activated the games. I've activated the games. So you got Gamble and a few others. So knock yourself out. If it doesn't work, straight away. Well done, Andy. So apparently the points are queued, so don't blame me. Don't blame me. Anyway, so in this stream, I think it's going to be a pretty simple affair. But in this stream, we're going to create a joystick library. We're going to try and we'll implement it into the example. I don't know. I don't think so. It says everyone. I mean, SO's there, Andy. Do you want to try SO? You think you won all the points. I don't know why it's not working. Hey, look at that. Got the SO working. It hasn't applied the points yet. It's still queued. I didn't think... Oh, here we go. Gambling. No, it's on. Preferences. Maximum bet. Oh, that's a big maximum. Oh, there's a minimum amount. 10's your minimum. That's probably why it's not working for you. Reward multipliers. Ooh. But yeah, it's set for everyone. So gamble's on. Slots are on. Duels on. You got a face? Well, I never. Anyway, so just in case Steps is in the room, just let him know, then he can lose all his money again. Right, so we're going to make a joystick library. So lib joystick. And basically we're gonna try and make it as easy as possible that the noob, as I call them, oh right, gambling preferences. Where would the cooldown be? Alright then. Oh, cooldown message. There's no cooldown switched on. Let me switch on the cooldown message. There you go. Save settings. The cooldown message is on now. There you go. Anyway, so we'll import our constants file, and what we need now is we need some constants to set up. So we need label joystick port 1. So joystick port 1 I think's in the constants. Yes. That's 1. And that's 2. Right. So we need a way of right. So we need a blah 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 blah. What do we need? What do we need? Come on, John, think. Oh yeah. So we need a so we need a joystick. Now, did I? Yeah. So we need to know what the what was the joystick import for this frame. For that then we need joystick import from last frame. So basically that's a way to test if we've got the finger on the button all the time, just in case, if you want to, like on the fire, people could put a finger on the button and then fire loads and loads and loads. This way it allows us to see if they had the fire button on, and if it's still on. Oh dear. Anyway, yes, a debouncer. And let's see, what do we need? So we need a way to, I'm thinking Derek's framework here, because he did the same thing, where he had a fire cooldown. So we'll probably have to do the same thing as well. That's right, mate. So this cooldown, fire cooldown, is when you've pressed the fire button, if you've pressed the fire button again while it's cooling down, it won't register. Then we need some constants. Joy up. What? Oh, I got this written down, didn't I? Ah, there it is. So up is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down is that. Left is that. Right is that. And fire is that. Does that look right? And so we need a masker. Because the ports of using bits for other things, so we just want to mask them out so we don't get confused. Yeah, and a cool down default. Why Studio Code do you do that? 30 frames, so that's a half a second. So you press it, if it's still pressed in within that half second, it won't let you do it. You see me banging the table. So what we need to do, we need to write a function we need to write a function to let the system know which port we want to look at. But do we just get it to read both ports? Yeah, why not? What happens if we want 2-player? No, we'll just get it. We'll just have it a 1-player routine. I think 2-player. Yeah, we'll do it for 1 joystick, and then it might be just a copy and paste, and have 2 sets of routines. Yeah, have 2 sets of routines. We don't want we'll have 2 sets of routines. So I'll do what I did with the sprites. I had a namespace, didn't I? Here we go, namespace. So we'll have lib joystick. So we'll call this joy2 because that's the most common one to be used. So we'll we'll have a libjoystick as well, because we'll need some common functions. So we're going to have two namespaces. So libjoy libjoy1 and libjoy2. So what we're gonna just populate joy2, right? So in here we need to be able to read the joystick. So I need to copy these. Yeah, I need to copy these into the different namespaces so we can separate them out. So that's joy2, joy1. So they'll be scoped to those namespaces. And then here we need a function to just go to. I did put a namespace within namespace, so we could do that. But that's the animate, isn't it? Yeah, that should work, putting this namespace in a namespace. What am I thinking? Gotta get used to this kick stuff. Right. So we don't need that because they are unique to here. So in here we need a routine to read the joysticks. So it'll be libjoystick read joysticks. Right. So we need to read the joystick and then update these variables on each one of them. Input, 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 you dope. Right, so we'll do we'll do joystick 2 first. So that's LDA joystick 2. Where's the constant? Where's the labels? There. In fact, put them in there like so. Joystick port 2. Then because it's a 1 when it's not selected and a 0 when it is, we will then EOR $FF, which inverts the bits, and then we will mask it off with joy mask, so it only gives us our joystick things, and then we'll store it in lib2.joystick this frame. That works. And then we'll do the same for joystick 1. Put that in there. So that's reading the joystick. Now we've got to make sure that we write functions that allow the user to be able to interact with it. So what we need to do then is we need to do something here So we're doing joystick 2, boink. And we need to do something here. For the moment, and I'll rev them out because we need to do the processing for the debouncing. So we'll do it for one, and then we'll copy it into the other one. So basically, what we're going to call it, bounce check, I suppose. So this is where we need to now compare what we had before with what we've got now. I think that's it. So we need to load in this particular game joystick. Where's joystick input? Oh, have I got to name it? Why doesn't that see that? Right, we need to compare it with what we had in the last frame. Now, what do we need? What do we want to do? Are we saying to ignore it, or are we saying that we need to do something with it? I think it's the extension, mate. I don't think it's VS Code. I think it's the extension. I don't think the timer for the IntelliSense is long enough. I think it reacts too quickly. Right. So we need to do, I'm just thinking, do we need to compare it, or do we need to do a mask and, because if it's the same, we'll get the same result, so it won't be equal. No, I can't do that, because if we press look and left and then we just press look, then it's still not equal to it. So we can't do that. Okay. Yeah, I've inverted it, mate. I inverted it here. So you're right. It's high for off, but because I've inverted it, it's now 1 for on, yeah, and 0 for off, just to make life a little bit easier to understand. So we're still working in normal binary because we've done that. You and me, grin. Because I'm trying to make it easier for the user to understand. So, and we're already teaching them about, binary. What, 1, 2, 3. I don't want to confuse them by saying, right, think the opposite. Let's just make it the right way around this time. So the question is, right, because let's say if you do left and up, is that left in your eyes? Yeah, left and up. If we do left and up, that's this frame. So if he then does up, we need to be able to say it's different. Ooh. Hang on. We can do that. Hang on, hang on. Right, let's think this through. Let's think this through. Right, let's say if we're doing up and left. So that's going to be, so we're talking the last 5 bits. We're not talking anything else. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So left and up. So up is that and left is up, down, left. Yeah, so that's left. Let's say the previous, no, let's say that's the previous, and then we're now just doing up. So that's up. So if we EOR them, go on then guys, time to get your brains out. What's the answer to that? So to EOR, if they're the same, it's 0. If they're different, they're 1. Yeah. So they're the same, so that's going to be 0. They're the same, that's going to be 0. They're different, that's 1. They're the same, they're the same. So that's giving us our differences. Yeah. So let's rem this. So this now tells us that there actually was a difference between the last key, the last joystick input and the present one. So we need to be able to class it as something completely different. So and if you want to stop the debouncing, like for the fire, because we'll be testing for that in a bit, this will we need to run a function to say, are we going up? I have lag. Okay. So so what should we call these functions? Going up. There we go. So we take the this frame and it with our constant. In fact, we'll do this. Only you. Okay. There we go. And it with that, compare it with that. Now I'm thinking, can we not do that? Can we not do that? We don't have to do the compare, do we? Right, so branch if not equal. So if not equal, that means it's not going up. And so that's going forward. So if it is equal, we will set the clear the carry. Right. So if we're checking for up and it is up, we're setting the carry, and if it's not, we will clear the carry and then return back out. That'll work. So we just need to do that 4 times. So check down, down, no, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? It's not equal if it is. If it is, not is not. Remember, so we're ANDing it with a number, so it'll always be we're wanting a number, so it's got to be not equal, so it is. So we need to change these around. Right, so that's check down, check right. And check left. Right, left, up, down. So we need to run, so in joystick 1 we need to do that there. Right, we've got the basic framework for joystick 1. Let's see if we can put it in here and see if we can control quasi. So we'll copy that, paste it, copy, why? Oh, I'm going to say, why won't you paste? Why the hell have you gone in there? Right, get that. Drag it down here. Move. Right, so we're going to use 10. Get rid of 9. And we're going to import libjoystick. So what we're going to do is, let's get rid of that. So now we're just going to, on our updater, we are going to run. So here we are, this is where we're testing for the joystick here. So we need to, on here, we need to, yeah, this is where we need to do it. So branch, so as soon as it hits the frame, we need to do a JSR lib joy thank you dot, come on, read joysticks. So that reads the joysticks. Then what we can do is in here, so test joysticks. So we'll rem all this lot out. We'll rem all this lot out to there. We'll leave it in, but we should be able to do exactly the same thing that it's doing there. Yeah. So test joysticks. So the first one is we are testing for left. Right, so we are testing for left. So we've loaded the joystick. We should be able to do JSR lib joystick. Oh. Dot. Was it joy 1? And we are testing for left, aren't we? Check left. Now the end result of that is, if you remember, if it is left, the carry's set. If it's not, it's clear. So branch if clear. And so we'll move it on to what we did. We called it test right. Right. So we'll just copy what we did here and paste that there. And then jump to update quasi. So we'll grab that. We'll grab that. Thank you. We'll grab the code that makes it that. So we'll do that there. And we'll do that there. Grab that, that goes there. So we can do the test for right now. So check right. Remember, if carry is set, it's right. If it's not, then we're doing test up. And then test up is exactly the same thing again. Right, left, up, down. That should be it. Now if I've done everything, now this is not going to work first time, I can guarantee it, but we'll try it. Hey, he's running. Something's wrong, he's running. Have I got it set wrong? Have I? So he's running right. Right, okay, I'm going to have to put breakpoints on this so I can see, make sure I've got me things set up right. Oops, wrong one. Right, so here we are. So we're checking now. Let's find the memory location for our right, so that's the sprite stuff. Here we go. So we are looking at, where's joystick 2, Vic table, swap. So we're looking at this one. So it's 115A. So 115A is there. Right, so we're checking, so it's set to 0. This is where I fall over in it. Right, because it's not equal. That's not equal. So it's clear. Branch of carry clear. Then it goes to that one. Clear. Oh. Ah. That's me. That's me. That's me. My bad. Oh, you're jumping now. As well as going that way. What? That can't be right. Oh. Well, the jump is definitely wrong. That should be going there. If it's not jumping, right. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Right, so am I on joystick 2? (16E1). What's at 16E1? Why are you jumping? Why are you jumping at? Why is it jumping to a place that doesn't really exist? That's there. Jump to game looper, which is there. Why is it jumping to there? Ooh, intriguing, Mr. Bond. Right, joystick on. Well, jumping's working. But he's moving that way, I don't know why. Oh! That might help. What the... Are we overwriting anything? So nothing's changing that byte. Just put a breakpoint there. I know it's going to be firing up every time, but I want to find. What? I was going to say. Right, so I said F10, F11. Just taking that breakpoint out and put it. So reading the joysticks. And we'll put it in the joystick test again. Right, we'll make sure we're on joystick 2. Yeah. So note, and it with 4, nothing. Right, so what, where's that number gone? It's 155A, was 155A? Here we go, right. One five A. So 115A. Here we go. So we're going to change the number because they've already read the joystick. So we're going to pretend that we've changed the number. So the number I want to do is right. So that's 8. Yeah. So we've changed that to 8. So now we're going to step through it and see if it fires the left. So here we go, and it with 8. So my understanding is a whole rack of rubbish, isn't it? I'm gonna have to put the compares in. I was trying to be clever, but it's not working. We'll put the compares in. Right. One 5A 08 08. Doesn't like the number pads, debugger. Doesn't like the number pad. Right. Right, that's wrong. Yeah. Because I've now put the compares, it's branch if equal. Oh, you're joking. Right, so something's changing. And I'm on joystick 1. Let's try that again. Ooh. So I was on joystick 2. Oh, I was reading joystick 2. Have I got my joystick numbers the wrong way around? About to find out. Oh, whatever. So we're looking at joystick. So we're loading joystick port 2, which is B. Oh, rats, I'm reading the wrong port. Yeah, reading the wrong port. So something's changing that memory address. Right, the Vic table's there. So that shouldn't be affecting. Then it's the sort routine. It's miles away. There's Quasi's data. Oh, hang on. Where did it go wrong? (169). Yeah, it's jumping to there, isn't it? A, there. It's jumping to there. Or something's changing. That should be A8. Okay, let's run it again. We'll leave that. Yeah. A8. Right. So I went right. Something is jumping to that point. Oh, what could be jumping to that point? So it's rectified itself now. But we're at 16E9. How the hell did it get to 16E9? So I pressed right. Right, let's put a breakpoint on that test. I pressed right. So here we go. So I pressed right. So it should have done that. Has to. Yeah, it's in Discord, mate. If you're talking about live share. So we'll put a breakpoint there. I think it's something to do with this. Right. So, okay, 11. We'll get rid of that. So it should be running now. Here we go. Right. If we go to right, it should break. Oh, it didn't. Where didn't it break? I put a breakpoint in. Oh, it did. I removed it, didn't I? So I want to check when we actually go into to right. So that's the right. Here we go. Right, here we go. So as soon as I hit right, and it's died. Didn't even go in the breakpoint, which is here. Right. If all else fails, ram the whole thing out, reinstate the old stuff. Well, okay. So it's not even, it's not me. I bet I bet it's something to do with the multiplexer. 16E. But joystick 2 is A, because it's the other way round, isn't it? It's the wrong way round. Yeah, DC double O, which is A, is joystick 2. Yeah, I swapped them over, mate. I swapped them over. Look, joystick 1's now on B, and joystick 2's on A. Let's check the constant files, make sure I've got them the right way round. No, they're the right way round. But it's doing it on the old code as well. Something's jumping to here. I wish I could figure out what it's doing. Can't go backwards. Right, let's take her ladyship out. Let's just, maybe Quasi's too scared. Right, so there's only the two of them. Right, I'm on joystick port 2. Oh, and it jams as well. That jams as well. Control F. Does that let you go back? Control F. All right. I thought we could go back in time on this thing. I thought we could go back in time on this. So the multiplex is still going. Really? Oh, good spot. Good spot. Good spot. Well done, mate. Good spot. Right, we'll put Esmeralda back in. Or we'll reset the code. Thank you, mate. Right, okay. I'm going to figure out how to do this AMK points. I'm going to figure it out and then we'll have it for real. Right. Unrem that. Unrem. That's it. Right. F6. Come on. This should have been easy. Right. Joystick 2. So he's not moving. So, oh, did I change? What did I change? What did I change? Compare if it's equal. So if it's equal to up, set the carry. Right. Right, so where's our data being stored? That's sprite. Whoa, not that far. Where's our data being stored? Here. So we are looking, oh, it's, yeah, because put the RTS in. It's 115B now. So we're going to pretend we've put in a write, which is 8. 115B 08. Right then, let's go through it. So that should not be an equal. Yeah, so it's a clear, so it goes past around it. Now this should set branch if equal. No, what do you mean no? Go back to there. How can I drag it back? F11. Right. 08. Enter. Now you're 8. Let's try again. Load 8, and it with 4, get nothing. Okay. Load 8, and it with 8. What? Oh. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Coding police. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Please work. Yes! Up his jump. Slight problem with the animation there. But he's done it, he's done it, done it! Yeah! Right. Now we know that's working. We can copy all this lot and put it in lib1. So, oh, we've got to do fire. Right, fire. Ooh. This is the... yeah, so we're checking fire. Now this is going to be slightly different because we don't want the fire to be active all the time, yeah? Joy fire. Right, so if it is, then we're here. So we need to so what we need to do here is we need to load oops, fire cooldown. If it's equal to 0, then OK to fire. What? Stop it. Stop it. Right, so plus. So it's OK to fire. So if it's still in cooldown, clear it, RTS. OK to fire. We load the countdown default. Store it into cooldown. Oh, come on, stop it. And then set the carry. So basically what this is doing, right, is we're loading the input from the current frame. We're testing it that it's fire. If it is, then we load in the fire cooldown. And if the fire cooldown is not 0, right, so it's any number other than 0, that means that we've pressed the button too quick. Yeah, so it will just come through here with a clear carry saying that we have not pressed the fire button. But if it is 0, or in other words, the updater here, yeah, the updater has decreased it to become 0. Oh, I got a follow. MD084, welcome to the stream. And so, oh, got another one. The real MKB. Welcome to the stream. Hope everything's all right. So we reset the cooldown default back to 30, store it, and then we say, right, we return back saying it's a successful fire. So that should now be everything. So all we need to do here is just copy all this lot into joystick 1. Yeah, that. There we go. So that's the joystick 1 library done as well. The only difference is I'm missing a variable. So we will grab it from here. Oh, come on, John. Input. Well, I've done it here, haven't I? Input. No, mate. These are generic libraries, yeah? The whole point of this is to make generic the example that we're running is the Hunchback example, but it could be applied to anything. So these are generic libraries that can be used anywhere for anything. Just include them into your code, and then you can use these functions to determine what's going on. It's like now we've switched off the ROMs because of the multiplexer. The next thing I was going to do was a keyboard library to be able to interrogate the CIA1, I think it is, that does the keyboard, and determine the matrix number for the keys. So that was going to be another library. I thought I'd be doing that today, but because of the problems we've been having. But this library can be used anywhere. So if you want to take this library from my GitHub and apply it to your own game, go for it. Now, the jumping mechanism is in here, is in the example. That's what defines the jump. The joystick test for jump, which is up, is just generic. We're just saying, is the joystick gone up in the up position? Yes, it is. So we set the carry, and then we test for the carry when we come out. So the mechanics for the jump are here in the game, but the library is to be used for whatever you want. No, that's all right, mate. That's all right. So this joystick library is almost done. Almost. Just checking my notes. Yep. that's basically all I was going to do. Because if we decide to do in the Hunchback game double jumps and stuff like that, that's where you have to truly detect. This is where the last frame comes into whatever was in the last one, where we have to test, and that's where the difference is coming in. You know, do we switch? Do we not use that bit? Is that the bit that changes? And so this library will probably get a little bit more sophisticated. But for today, all I wanted to do was to get a generic library that would allow you to use the joystick. We've got a library that allows you to use the sprites in both either multiplexer mode or in normal mode. Then we'll have a keyboard library that allows you to interface with the keyboard. Now we've switched off the ROMs. You know, there's no kernels now on this example. There's no kernels running. That we need another way for the user to find out what keys are being pressed. And so there'd be a keyboard library. And then the other library that I was thinking of was a screen library, because we've swapped out all the ROMs. We've not got the print capabilities and stuff like that. And I was thinking of having a screen library that allows you to clear the screen, place characters at certain points and stuff like that. So it would sort of replace the print routines, and same and try and forge a print routine where we're given a load of screen codes or even print code. Because I found something very interesting. I don't know if I've got it in my here we go. PETSI code to screen code converter. So there's a set of rules that allows you to convert print characters into screen characters. And so, but because Kick allows you to do all the encoding, you don't have to worry about that, because you just tell it, I'll encode this string as screen characters, and then we could do some print routines that allows you to do that. So these are generic libraries primarily being developed for the Hunchback project, but they could be used for anything. I'm not stopping anybody use these libraries for any of their projects. That's one of the whole points of this, is for the people who are getting into 6502, the noobs as I call them. And these libraries take the complexity out of handling sprites, being able to interrogate the joystick, handling the keyboard, and other functions. So hopefully when we do yes, there's nothing wrong with being a noob, because we're all noobs once, and then we could become Padawan learners and Jedi masters, and then the true master is Shallan. But it's a way for you guys to be able to just run a function, noob to super noob, yeah, to run a function and get what you need. You were right. By the way, these guys were giving you love earlier. Right, where was I? Oh yeah. So Someone's giving you hugs. Andy's giving you hugs. She's not very well. She's not very well.
I'm getting hugs.
Yeah, Andy's giving you hugs. I told him why I had to put on waiting, and they were giving you lots of love earlier on. Alright? Be careful. Careful. You sure you're right? Is she calling the police now? No, you put a smile on her face, I tell you that now. She's not very well. Right. So, I was hoping to do a lot more than this, but this is the trying to good Andy's spot that I'd forgotten an RTS. Yes, you did, mate. C++, low level. We are talking to the CPU directly. That's what this is all about. None of that C++ and all the other ones. We are talking directly to that chip. Oi, do this. Not telling something else that then compiles it to sort the thing that we want to tell it. We're telling it, do this. That's how low level we go. If we could handshake with the chip, we would do. So, I think we'll call it at that. And I'll go and see if she's alright. Is anybody on? See if we're going to raid somebody. Is anybody going? Oh, Hayes is on. Right. I will probably do another stream before the end of the week. We'll go back to the... Yeah. Well, if you stick with this, if you stick with me, there's a few others. The whole point of this is we're going to do a community game project. We're building Hunchback for the 64. If you remember that Hunchback game. So all my community guys, the guys on the forum, the patrons, and all that. At various levels of experience, from the noob like yourself to the more experienced ones like Grey Defender, Andy Magic Knight, C64 Mark, we're gonna rebuild the Hunchback game from scratch. So and everybody's going to get involved. I'm not doing it. This is one project I'm not doing. I'm writing the libraries to help you guys out, but you guys are going to be writing it. I'm just going to be putting it on stream and on video saying, look what we've done this week. This then allows you guys to be able to say, I was part of this game building process, and this is what we developed. So that's what all this is all about. Is eventually, because we are going to write it in Python first to understand the game mechanics, and then convert that Python game into machine code, into 6502 for the 64. And the community's going to do it. We've got people who want to do the sound, we've got people who want to do sound effects, people who want to do music. I'm still waiting for people on graphics. I think we got one. I'm hoping to get another one. And we've got coders that are all going to do varying different things. But at the core of it will be this set of libraries. When I finish with them, there'll be this set of libraries that you can use to allow like you know, we've got a multiplexing sprite system now that gives you a total of 18 sprites, not just the 8. So right, I'm going to surprise Hayes with a raid, and the next stream, like I say, the next stream will be back into Jeff Minter's brain, where we carry on disassembling Grid Runner. I have been disassembling Grid Runner 2 and I've got real far with it. I've got real far with it. Alright, so guys, I will see you in the next... Don't look at his sofa. I will see you in the next stream. So take care, guys, and have fun. I'd like to thank all the patrons that are contributing to my channel. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. Thank you very much.